This is our 70s Cadillac Coupe de Ville, and it is easily the most dangerous car we have ever owned.
This car is completely rotten. The floor, the chassis, even the doors are just completely crumbling away. This car can never go back on the road.
Despite all of that rust, it's hiding an 8.4 litre V8, and it made 120 horsepower when we tested it. A laughable amount of power for the size of this engine.
So today we're attempting to restore as much power as possible and push this 70s V8 to the absolute limit. We're starting with the simple stuff, and by the end of the day, things might get a bit silly.
The first thing to do was get it down to Surrey Rolling Road and reveal the real reason we're doing this in the first place. So the body of this car is unsavable, but this engine could potentially have some life in it. So here's the deal. If this car could make it to 190 horsepower, the horsepower it came from the factory with, we'll take the engine out and do something with it, but the rest of the car will go in the bin. So there is still opportunity for this car to prove itself one final time.
70 horsepower, that's all it's got to do.
And if it doesn't make the 70 horsepower, we've got a little trick that we think might make it do it. Right, before we get it on the dyno, there's going to be a lot of you that are upset that we're not fixing this or restoring, but this car is too far gone. Please, Will, let's give them a tour.
So we've got the bonnet.
When I lift it up,
this bit's simply almost not part of the bonnet anymore. The entire second skin of the bonnet is coming loose. That is probably the best part of the entire car. Here we just have, it's just not connected anymore.
It's
and then
gone.
There's this bit which connects to the roof. It's soft.
I
shouldn't be soft.
You can just kind of,
oh, we're going for the convertible.
we can just kind of peel it off if you'd like. Oh, so sorry. That was the window switches in there. We'll go again. Oh, it doesn't even want to.
Actually.
Sorry, hold on. It doesn't close anymore.
Have to clean that rust up.
Sorry, Charlie.
We've got this hole here, which is again getting worse. Look how everything is just very, very soft, and this nice wood. Oh, this hole.
Oh, trim piece for Cadillac. Used fair condition. This was left on tarmac for around about a year. It's never driven in salt. It's just done this. He's just built like this. That's just what he does.
If you think all of that's fine, you can repair that. It gets worse, and that has got worse.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the chassis was beyond saving, but the engine still showed some promise. However, with a 70 horsepower deficit, we needed to bring in an expert to take a closer look.
Now, for this one, we've brought in a specialist. We don't know much about old V8s like this. We've got Kyle from Skyrocket Automotive. The car is down on power, but you know about these cars. You actually had to do a water pump on this, I believe, as well.
I did have to do a water pump on this.
If you remember correctly, it overheated a lot when we drove it, but that should now be sorted. So first things first, if you just have a look, see if there's anything wrong with it, and then we'll go from there, see if we can make at least a little bit extra power.
I'll try for 3.
That would be lovely, yeah.
Kyle had a look through the engine bay and instantly found something that would help the car's power: the timing. Older cars generally use a distributor, which sends electricity to each spark plug at the perfect moment, allowing the engine to run smoothly.
Inside is an electrified rotor arm that spins. As it spins, it brushes against metal contacts which are connected to each spark plug wire. They send electricity to each spark plug in the correct order.
Kyle suspected that the Cadillac's timing was way off, so he adjusted it accordingly.
We're all looking good. We're hopefully going to make some more power. And obviously, Charlie from Surrey Rolling Road is going to be doing it. He's the only man who would agree, to be fair.
Agree would be a strong word.
Should we do the first run?
Absolutely. And you do promise to release my children once I do this for you.
Only if it makes 200 horsepower.
Before we take this on the dyno, we wanted to remind you this car's original figure was just 120 horsepower, 70 horsepower away from how it left the factory, and our target for today.
Love it! We hope a tiny bit more power. We're going to stage 1, 2. It didn't really feel like a dyno run. Normally it's wow.
So Charlie gave it another run.
There we go. 47 horsepower from a man's fingers. How wonderful is that? That's great. Oh, okay. 47 horsepower?
Yeah.
Oh, a Ford Fiesta owner, like, that's stage 1.
If you take it as a percentage of what we had originally, it's significant.
It is, but it is an 8.4 litre.
It is, and it's still a big pile of shit, quite frankly.
horsepower.
I have to say, actually feels quite smooth and nice now. Yeah, I mean the car is horrible, but the engine it purrs away and it does feel quite nice.
So 120 horsepower was the original figure when we brought it here many months ago. Now with a little bit of tuning, 167 horsepower. It's quite an increase, but we think there's more in it yet. We're going to get Carl to do a little bit more tuning. There's something he has just found that he reckons might free up a bit of power. We're currently 23 horsepower off the standard number. Let's see what Carl can do.
This Cadillac is equipped with a quadrajet carburetor, which mixes fuel and air for the engine. It has 4 openings, 2 small ones that open for everyday driving to save on fuel, and 2 large ones that open up when you press the accelerator hard for more power.
These were common on older General Motors cars because they balanced efficiency and performance well, but Kyle discovered that ours wasn't switching to the larger openings properly, which meant we were losing power when accelerating hard.
So with that issue hopefully solved, we got ready to go for another run, but the Cadillac had other ideas. So the car, even though we've got a brand new DriveTech battery, also shout out to GSF Car Parts for sending that out to us. Thank you very much. We put that on in preparation for this video, and after running, you've heard this car on the dyno making power. It now won't crank. It cranks really slowly as if it's got dead battery. So we're going to try just to see if maybe there might be a bad engine earth. When you have a bad engine earth, your car doesn't like to turn over, it doesn't want to start. Yes, okay, so it's an engine earth. Okay, not the worst thing on earth, but it just means every now and then we might need to break the jump cables out to get it going.
With that avoided and the quadrajets now properly working, we went for our second power run.
So we've just gained 60 horsepower, half what we had, on top of it for free. For the cost of nothing, just from Kyle. Kyle just made 60 horsepower. So all Kyle's done is corrected the timing that the previous owner got incredibly wrong, and then made the quadrajets, the secondaries on the carburetor, work.
And that's it. 60, just over 60 horsepower.
We are 9 horsepower away from the original power this car should have made.
So Charlie did say in the car that there were no misfires at all, but we're going to have a look at the spark plugs, give them a clean, see if that makes any difference. Then we're going to move on to some leads as well.
Now, before we shoot some nitrous through this horrible old Cadillac, this is a quick reminder that if you are buying a car, perhaps a horrible old Cadillac, you should always run a car vertical check.
That's right, because every single day hundreds of cars get crashed, but some of them get repaired and put back on the road in an attempt to hide their dodgy history. With a car vertical check, you can find out that shady past.
All you need to run a report is the VIN, or you can use the car's number plate, and then a car vertical report will tell you if that car has been crashed, stolen, or clocked.
Now here, next to me, is a sneak peek of our next series. It's going to be a very good one. It's a Volkswagen Golf Mark IV, and as we can see on Car Vertical, we've got a Car Vertical score of 64. We've got 10 minus points for failures over the years on their MOTs, and also operation showing that it might not have been driven for a long time, and then driven a lot of miles in a short amount of time, something that's not that good for a car. But other than that, we've got green ticks for mileage, finance, and damage, also theft, so we're all good there.
Now here we have another American car, a Cadillac CTS, and we've got a yellow marker for damage. And again, if we scroll down, we can see photos of said damage. All looks okay at the back. At the front, we've got a completely smashed in front end. It's had a heavy front end smash, but other than that, it doesn't look too terrible. But if we keep scrolling down, we can see the car was written off in Poland twice. Now with a car vertical report, you can see all of this information, but someone might try and bring this car to the UK or to another country and try and sell it off as a completely clean car. However, with a car vertical report, you can find out all of this shady history.
So the next time that you're buying a car, van, motorbike, or a horribly sketchy Cadillac, make sure you're on a car vertical check to make sure the price you pay for it matches its history.
And as an added bonus, Car Vertical are offering you guys 20% off when you use our code TDC. So the next time you buy a car, might be a Cadillac, support the channel, use our code. Let's shoot some nitrous through this thing.
Oh my God.
So we got to work removing the spark plugs to give them a good clean. Their job is to ignite the air-fuel mixture inside the engine cylinders, so keeping them in good condition is essential for full power.
Worn, dirty, or incorrect plugs produce weak sparks, causing misfires and reduced horsepower. Simply cleaning them restores a strong, consistent spark, helping the engine run smoothly and deliver maximum performance.
But as I removed the first plug, I noticed something interesting and perhaps a bit worrying. It's just a piece of gasket that was laying next to the spark plug. Bosh. Hey, this American's been Europeanized. Goddamn Bosch is in there. The hell are those?
On my side of the engine though, things were a little different.
So we have a Bosch on that side. First one out on this side is a Champion. The spark plug gap does look quite similar though, so we'll do a comparison with all of them. Hoping to get a new brand on the next one.
What cloth is that? Is that like sort of to spec and stuff?
McDonald's. American.
Was that from that bag down there?
Yeah, it's running on a fucking carburetor.
No, it's far too early for that.
So just cleaned up a little bit, cleaned up the contacts, so if there is any issue, should be gone now.
I'm gonna pan up and you're gonna say, these are clean, let's put them back in.
Hey!
These are clean. Let's put them back in. Did I not do exactly as you asked?
To pair with the spark plugs, we are going to go to these. Now, I'm not happy about the colour, but it's the only one I could get. These are new plug leads.
Plug leads, or high tension leads, carry the high voltage electricity from the distributor we mentioned earlier to the spark plugs. Old or worn leads can leak voltage or reduce the spark strength, leading to misfires and lower power.
Installing new leads ensures the full voltage reaches the plugs, giving better combustion and improved engine performance. New leads are on, and we've cleaned up the spark plugs, so if there was any issue, we may have hopefully helped it. We might gain a horsepower or two. It would be nice.
So, with clean plugs and new HT leads, it was time for our third power attempt.
Now, I've played Car Mechanic Simulator, and red leads is more powerful.
After that disappointingly low figure, Charlie gave it another go.
So the engine's sticking around.
Engine safe.
192 horsepower. What does Charlie have to say?
It works.
It's not the best, but the number was 190. We've hit it.
We're back to stock.
We're back to standard.
Just a couple of modifications. We're back to
Again,
standard.
for pence, really, we have gained 70 horsepower.
70 horsepower.
But we're not done there. I think there's an angle grinder somewhere. I think we should get rid of some exhausts. Removing parts off an exhaust, like back boxes, can let exhaust gases flow more freely. Every car's exhaust is fighting with something called back pressure, which is essentially the resistance that the engine feels when pushing exhaust gases out through the exhaust system.
When the engine doesn't have to work as hard to push out exhaust gases, it can gain a small boost in power. It's always been debated whether this actually makes a power difference, so it was time for us to put it to the test.
It's got like a muffler and then another one at the back, which I reckon we lose, and we see if it makes a difference. But there's a join, or there's an angle grinder. Now where we're cutting is directly next to the rust hole in the floor. So there is a chance we kill Charlie. There might be enough carbon monoxide in the car to kill him.
I was about to say, one inch of miss and you're going to fold the whole car in half.
Yeah, so I'm willing to put Charlie's life on the line.
I don't think he cares.
I think he's fine with it. His kids will remember him. So I got to work and removed the resonator and the back box. There is upwards of 3 inches of space under there, so that might be the least pretty thing on Earth. But the front part of the exhaust is no longer connected to the back box, the muffler, the resonator. So now it should be loud. Will, would you like to test the volume of this car?
Okay. Oh, I'm Vin Diesel now.
I swear it rocks more. Now it feels like the Yenko Camaro from Too Fast and Furious going. Your thoughts on the new noise?
What's a noise?
Yeah.
I'm not massively impressed, if I'm honest.
But do you know what would impress Charlie? If you subscribe to the channel right now.
We're trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any future uploads.
With half of the exhaust now gone, it was time for our fourth power attempt.
Surely! One more. Just get it warmed up. Oh no! We're smoking Charlie out in there, he's not happy.
But then something unexpected happened.
And then things got even better.
back box?
I cut the resonator from the back box off. So we're over 100 horse. We're 114 horsepower more than the last time this car came to the dyno. This engine's coming home with us. The car might not be. The engine is. Also, there's going to be people going, 224, it's not much. I know it's not much. But it started at 120.
That's ridiculous. I wasn't expecting to even touch 200.
Right, it's now on to the final. I mean, Charlie has teed it up quite nicely.
Hello.
Not only are there 2 bottles there, there's a bottle down here. This was our final idea to make this car make power.
I wasn't expecting to even crack 200 horsepower, even to get to
Genuinely not.
original horsepower, but 225 is ridiculous. When I got a whole Focus ST under the bonnet, and now they should increase that by an amount.
This is a tank of nitrous. You've seen it in the Fast and Furious or Need for Speed. And what it does is very simple. It essentially has pressurized liquid nitrogen oxide inside of it.
Nitrous oxide is more oxygen rich than normal air, so when it's injected into the engine, it boosts the oxygen in the cylinders, letting the engine burn way more fuel than usual and ultimately creating a massive surge of power.
Normally, it's carefully and safely plumbed into the car with lots of extra fuel added to balance the mixture of nitrous oxide and air, which protects the engine from catastrophically blowing up. So we don't have that. So instead, what we've got today is... Ben, did that scare you?
I think my heart fell out of my chest. How excited?
I've been excited about this for months.
I've never been this close to a nitrous bottle.
Please, sir, your baby. Congratulations on your baby.
It's so cool. It's not NOS.
It's not blue.
And also, we won't be getting blue flames out of the exhaust. That is a movie trope. Perhaps you can edit some in.
With nitrous oxide and fire extinguishers in hand, it was time for our final run.
Charlie is going to do a few runs to get the car warm, at least, and then he'll give us a thumbs up, and we'll give it a little bit, not much. A little bit, not much. A little bit, not much.
There we go. More than double the horsepower. Massive thank you to Charlie at Surrey Rolling Road, and of course Kyle of Skyrocket Automotive. Didn't think we'd be here with the Cadillac,
No.
but that's a ridiculous number.
Stay tuned for when we pull the engine out of this car and find something cool to put it in. Drop in the comments what car you reckon we should put it in. Click here to subscribe. See you next week.